A very warm welcome to you. Good afternoon. I'm coming at you live from quarantine here in Johannesburg. I've just returned from a cargo flight to the Far East, bringing medical supplies back to South Africa. So a little unusual today, but today I have a very interesting and a wonderful guest for you lined up. The Krila Oluje is the national display team of the Croatian Air Force, Wings of Storm in English. And Lieutenant Marko Novkovic is joining us. Please stay tuned. Marko, a very warm welcome to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Alex. Hello to everyone watching, and how are you today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm locked down here in Johannesburg. South Africa has strict regulations, and particularly for aircrew that are traveling, so I'm going to be in a bit of quarantine here in Joburg. Are you guys locked down, or what is your movements? What's happening in Croatia?
It's a similar situation in Croatia. A lot of people have been in lockdown. We're following the prescriptions regarding the quarantine, but regarding flying, we're active. Flight instructors are active. We've got a lot of students this year that have to be flying on a day-to-day basis, so we're doing our best to keep that up because it's very good for them to keep it up while doing that, especially when they're training to become future pilots of the Croatian Air Force. So fortunate for me, I'm in the air, and it's good to be in the air always for pilots.
Yeah, wonderful.
I think you would agree on that, yeah?
Yes, it is good to be flying. So we've got people tuning in from all over the world. Dobre dan is the first message that's come through. Franco saying hello. So now we're talking a bit about flying, and let's just go back a little bit because you've got a bit of a twang in your accent. So tell us a little bit about you and how you ended up in the Croatian Air Force.
Yeah, so long story short, I was born in Australia, Melbourne, and lived there till I was 12. And after 2001, my parents decided to come back to their country from where they were born. And then I started here, learning the language at first, going to school, etc., etc. Though I wasn't one of the typical type of stories dreaming about airplanes and watching Top Gun every single day. That was quite different from me. I was more of a lost type of kid where my final year of high school, we had pilots of the Croatian Air Force coming in talking about the military in general and then the aviation story and what it is and how it is to be in the Croatian Air Force. And it got me intrigued. And I have to say my parents weren't really thrilled for me choosing that career, but let's say I did it just to show, I don't know, that I can. It was quite a challenge, and I tried it out. And a little secret, I watched Top Gun only on my third year of uni. So that's when I first actually saw the movie to see what it looks like. But in the end, I think I chose the perfect career, and I love my job, and I feel it's the best job in the world.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. And, you know, although you say you watched Top Gun late and you maybe never had some exposure to flying, in my experience is there's a similar thing going on. So people often think about Air Force pilots particularly, but pilots in general, did you think about dreaming it? Sure, there's always a big chunk of people that were thinking about flying and making model aeroplanes from a young age. But there's also a big chunk of people that thought about it late, such as yourself. So let's just talk about that little backstory before we dive in a bit further. And how it is that you came about. You mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Air Force and the military going around encouraging people. And isn't that exactly the point of the team that you now find yourself in?
Exactly. As you said, a perfect story, you know. So they came out to talk about it. And when you're young, you like to feel the challenge, to feel the adrenaline. You like that type of thing. You try it out, you give it your best shot, and in the end, you can be able to live in the dream, which is in my situation. Yeah.
That's great. So the purpose of the team is to go out there and to give the best display, to make the public enjoy themselves, have a nice operation. But let's just go back a little bit. So your team is a fairly young team. Well, you're coming up 15 years now. Started on 4 airplanes and you grew up to 6 airplanes. So talk a bit about the history and how it's evolved.
Oh, it's evolved quite a lot. Our team advisor, Lieutenant Barasic, he often tells us the old stories of how they started, trying things, hoping just not to kill themselves, for example. But a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of watching other people fly, other teams, communicating, all together. They built up an awesome display, an awesome team, where today we actually feel very confident and we are very proud of what we do. And we believe we do it very well. So it started off, a bit tricky. Everything at first is not that easy, but with the right discipline and the teamwork and the enthusiasts that we are today, we can be proud of what we have and continue enjoying ourselves doing the displays and showing the world what we can do.
Okay, I just want to flash to a bit of a video here to get people thinking and seeing what it's all about. So here's an intro video. The team getting airborne in a six-ship formation and pitching up out to the fields. You're starting to doing a bit of vertical and rolling maneuvers. I know you're sitting in a position 6, so you're out on the far right at this point, and now the team splits apart. 3 aircraft go one way, 3 aircraft go another way, and here comes the cross. That's quite something special. So talk us through that. Your role is number 6 there. The whole formation separates into 2, and how does that work out for you guys?
So the definition of splitting up in 3 aircraft formations is that the team leader has the first 3 aircraft, while the number 4 controls the other 3, or the back row. That's where I come in. And it's all about, the communication and timing. Through everyday flying and through the experience, we come to a point where we can actually time perfectly that our cross is actually very good and maintained right in the middle of the runway. So we perform that enough times to make it as perfect as possible. It is a very exciting maneuver, and especially going at around 15 to 20 meters, that's across. So sometimes I check myself, like looking at the other 3 ship formation, like seeing if we're not going to, run into each other. But you have you believe in your leader, and that's the part of our team that works the best in those type of situations, because you can have faith in the aircraft next to you. So you just dedicate yourself at staying in position and giving it all you got.
Well, that's great. I had a wonderful visit with your team when I was out there a couple of years ago visiting at the base there near Zadar. And Darko, a great man, great leader. I'm getting some comments coming through. I'm not going to be able to pronounce these correctly, but there's people from Croatia joining us. Hello to everybody who's joined in there. People are asking, so when I was on vacation, I never saw you during the holidays. Will you be able to propose a show during the years? Okay, so I presume with the lockdown now, that will be coming. And I know you've got some exciting things. We'll get to your smoke shortly. Another one is how was the preparation when you flew with the Patrouille de France? We'll come to that shortly too. It's another one. Another comment from Ivan saying Nas Brajo. I'm not sure if that's a hello or just a general greeting.
Hello, brother. Yeah.
And then how are the numbers split? So when you are divided, you mentioned that the lead goes to one side and number 4 leads the other side. What are the breakdown of the numbers there in that split up?
So we know as number 1 and number 4, they know the exact altitude they'll be acquiring, and the team leader actually pronounces specific words: when to start the turn, when to straight the bank, when to go up, and when to start the turn. So it's all coordinated through being in general always hearing each other at every single moment, so we know exactly when to perform what and what to do. Okay, great. I'm going to just put up some pictures here as we keep talking here. So there's a nice photo of you guys. We call it transitioning or ferrying from A to B. You're clearly on your transit between air shows. You're at about 15,000 feet here. And there's the leader is inverted, and there's a photograph of 2 or 3 and 4, looks like behind. So talk about this, how you position from A to B. You're based in Zadar or near Zadar, and you have to go and give a show down at the south or even in another country. Tell me a little bit about the team and how, the support team, you have to get your technicians there, you have to have services involved, and tell us a bit about the wider team and how they fit into the picture of the Krila Oluje. It's a big organization and it takes a lot of time. I have to mention again Lieutenant Colonel Barisic together with Captain Belancic Darko. They perform an enormous amount of time regarding the papers necessary through our Ministry of Defense, contacting all the people necessary in the countries we'll be visiting, crossing, etc. So it's a lot of, and we actually do that up to 6 to 8 months before even going there. So it takes time. Again, we prepare that with our technicians. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do anything. And we've always got a great crew with us. They're always before us there, and they always leave last. It's an awesome team, and altogether, it just comes up. So step by step, through a period of time, it comes up. And from experience so far, I've had excellent times flying around Europe. I had the privilege to fly to Poland, to Austria at Zeltweg, where I performed for my first ever air show in front of 150,000 people. So that was a bit of a...
Sounds like a lot of fun and a bit of nerves, I guess.
Oh, there was a lot of nerves. So, and then flying for Switzerland also, you know, that scenery from 15,000 feet going through the Swiss Alps and across Europe, and then to Belgium. I never thought that would be possible. And now, you know, when you become a part of the team, and then you see from inside how much effort is necessary for that to all go fluidly. It's great. It's great to see, you know, the enthusiasm and the discipline of the people behind it all. You know, you can't, sure. we don't see too much of the technicians, but again, without them, nothing will ever be possible.
Are your technicians full-time members of a team, or do they mix it up a little bit?
Yeah, so this is something that's actually not very, I would say, normal in aerobatic teams across the world. Our priority are flight instructors. All of us are flight instructors, and that's the majority of our job. So performing in an aerobatic display team is just something additionally that we all agree to, as being people who love to fly and, you know, pursue to even better skills. And let's say, for example, some people enjoy the free time, while other people like to, you know, enjoy the free time flying. So that's pretty much, it's some type of an additional job. We're not extra paid for it, or it's not something that we only do. We prepare ourselves approximately, I would say, during the winter and spring. Maybe I would say maybe one flight a week altogether. And then when the season starts, that's when we start going even a bit like every second day. And then when the shows come even closer, that's when we do it every day. But in between, we're always instructing, you know, students. We're always preparing new students. We're always talking about theory, exams with them and all that. And this is just something additional that we all absolutely enjoyed and love doing.
Okay, yeah, it is nice to be part of those teams that are able to full-time commit yourselves to just giving the displays. But similarly in South African Air Force, you had to do your first job as a flying instructor, and this was an over and above. So I know there's a lot of dedication and a lot of hours with your family given up to do that. And I suppose that comes also with a passion. It's a lot of fun flying these, but it's also the passion to give those extra hours to the team, to the country. And so I'm going to bring up this little picture here of another ferrying across. There's 7 airplanes in this photo, 3 in the background, and there's a photo taken from the pilot looking backwards. And you mentioned Damir. He's a remarkable figure in the team. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know he's flying the spare airplane in this picture, but so how does his role fit into this team?
He's one of the most biggest enthusiasts regarding aerobatic display teams I've ever met in the world. He's a type of pilot that actually dreamed of becoming a pilot in an aerobatic display team, rather than flying jets and, you know, becoming a fighter pilot. So he succeeded in that. He also has been 12 years leader of an aerobatic display team, which I would say is amongst the top in the world regarding flying hours committed to the team in general. So after, let's say, finally we got a new crew. Oh, he's going to hate me for saying this. But finally we got the time, you know, he got the time to take a rest a bit from all of that. And he's more now in the organization process. Sure. He's always, you know, committed 100% to this. And he comes with us to the air shows around Europe. He usually flies the spare aircraft. So in case something goes wrong with one, we've always got a spare one. Yeah. And a lot of this today would not be able to be as it is without his persistence and time and effort that he's put in the team.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I know when I had some chats with him, you could see the passion in just the way he speaks about the team. You know, this is almost like it's his baby. He was around with the team when it began in the beginning, and and still involved. And I believe if you have a sick pilot or some situation where somebody can't perform display, is he then available still to help out for the displays?
He also jumps in. He just can't get enough. He is always fit for flying, and whenever he can help, he will help, which is an awesome thing to have.
Okay, and what is a typical tour? People are asking now, what is your usual tour in the team? Is there a defined period, or is it because this is an over and above, as and when it suits you, the team members are replaced?
Exactly, as I said, so the second thing. So it's something that a pilot has to decide upon himself. It does take dedication, it takes time, it takes the free time out of your life. So usually the pilot commits to it 100%, and then when he feels he's had enough, he will announce his leave, and then we will start, with the specific phase of finding the next pilot to change and to replace him. So usually I would say it's an average in between 4 to 5 years. Okay. But we've had exceptions like with Damir, who's been 12, and then we've got people who've been only for a year or two, and then we're sent to other aircraft types. So it's really something that, on a personal basis, you decide how much you can, on a psychological aspect, taken into place, and on the physical side also, because it is very tiring.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, look, let's put up this picture and we can dive into a bit more of the specifics of the team. There's a nice photo here of the synchro pair, and they're in a position where one on top of the other with the forest in the background. So talk about the synchro pair and sort of the build up to how you take the more senior positions in the team. You may start as the new wingman, and there's an opportunity later on to lead that second half of the formation. I know the synchro pair's got a couple of signature maneuvers which is renowned around the world. So talk us through the synchro pair.
Okay, so that's number 4 and number 5. We've got currently actually our new pilot as in process, in training for the new number 5. So the synchro pair, and they do also the stall turn in a pair. It's that section after the crossing where we divide ourselves into 3 sections. So you've got me as the solo, you've got the 4 and 5 as the synchro pair doing their elements, and then you've got Darko taking on the 3 other aircraft. Yeah? So all in general, we're communicating. We know exactly what moments and what time and what precise timing we have to be at those situations. And every element has its figures. I haven't been so much diving into the negative types of the maneuvers. I only fly inverted, but they have to hold, the banks and through the synchro pair maneuver where they're looking out at each other, and then you've got the mirror also. It can be very demanding on the body, and I think they do it excellent. So it's a phase I'm looking forward to coming up maybe next season. I'll be entering one of the new sections and then diving into the more negative elements. It's more specific regarding Krila Oluje is that we don't have the sound or the smoke system, so we have to show our abilities in flying technique. So sometimes it might not be so attractive regarding people coming to watch aircraft, but we always get good feedback regarding pilots talking to us and asking us how we do it, and giving us thumbs up about the awesomeness of those elements. We've got a couple of elements that only we do in the world, and I think that's a pretty big thing, and I think that Krila Oluje can be proud of doing that. Okay, well, let's
as you talk through those different elements, let's have a look at that mirror. Another signature maneuver, the triple mirror. So 3 aircraft underneath, 3 aircraft on top. Wow, just have a look at that. That's the negative G that you were talking about earlier, the top aircraft, really concentrating hard. The whole way the aircraft flies, the wing is not usually designed to be flying upside down for extended periods, and certainly in formation it's tricky, so it's an extra trick to keep yourself flying nicely in that formation. And you can see there, no smoke. So you've got a great history with no smoke, but tell us what's happening. There's some exciting news about smoke arriving in the PC9. That Pilatus is a great aircraft, and now you're getting some smoke after all these years.
Yes, it looks like the impossible is possible sometimes in life, So finally, we've started to install the smoke systems in our aircraft. We've got actually 3 fully functional aircraft with the smoke system fully operating. So that is awesome and exciting news. I know Darko and Barisic came after the first aircraft with the smoke system installed. I went to the city to greet them and see that. And, it was like a very... it's history in the making, After 15 years of trying and doing your best, and it's finally come to become true. So I'm really excited to see all 6 aircraft up and running. And we're hoping by the end of this year, we'll have actually all 6 up and running with a new program. Maybe even an old program with smoke, I feel it's going to be going higher just for another level for people to watch. And it's exciting to think about it.
So the creativity that you guys have brought to the show to just make it something special, make people interested. The smoke is going to just give you that boost. It's going to just give everyone that extra bit of energy. I can't wait to see how it turns out for you. But despite that, having not had smoke over the years, you've won numerous awards at the Royal International Air Tattoo. Well done for that Best Performance Award despite no smoke. It was your first event at the Royal International Air Tattoo at Riyadh, and the team won the trophy. So well done. I've seen that sword in your crew room. It's great to have it, and it's great to celebrate those things. So let's talk a little bit about the team and how you go about delivering with this excellence. Great teams prepare well. They deliver the job in a high degree, high precision manner, but they also look at the work that they did afterwards and were they happy with it, the incremental gains. So how do you guys go about briefing, getting ready for the show, and debriefing after?
So I can start with the about actually choosing the pilots at first. So it is not something, we don't come from different diverse backgrounds. We are all flight instructors from Zadar, based in Zadar. It starts when you're a student. So we've got always a phase of group flying, and everything is tracked, monitored, and you can very quickly see when someone is acting natural next to another aircraft. Sure. So you've got pilots that don't feel so comfortable flying in group formations, and then you've got other people that actually feel over comfortable in those situations. And it's something that we remember and we take in count. And then you track the pilot's progress through his career, like his dedication to the job, his discipline, his teamwork, his motivation. And through that, in the selection phase, then people are chosen to try the selection phase to see what they think about it. We have to take in part also their psychological conditions, their physio conditions, of course, their family, how much kids they have. They have to take everything into account, and it's a process that's very precise, very specific. Afterwards, it goes through a 20-hour or 30-flight training procedure, where through the next 3 to 4 months, you're flying on an everyday basis, starting with 2 aircraft and then building up 3, 4, 5, and then finally through 6 aircraft. Yeah. Okay. So we encourage at the starting process we usually have a pilot who actually uses a camera to film us. Okay. And then, but of course, we start higher levels, altitudes, and then we lower them as the pilot becomes more comfortable in those situations. And then we start actually filming. We use the GoPro from inside the aircraft. We use the GoPros outside the aircraft. We've got cameras. And when we sit down in our club, we talk through it. We think about it. We visualize it. You go home, you think about it again and again. You start dreaming those aircraft. It's just the process that comes in. You can't stop thinking about it. Yeah. Sure. And then after sometimes your confidence rises, and it just feels all automatic, where you come to actually easily go through the flying and actually enjoy it. There's always an amount of stress, but I would say it's positive stress. What I've seen with myself is when I start overthinking the elements during flying, is that when I make the most mistakes. Okay. It's just, when you blend in and just go with the flow, you have to talk to yourself and understand that, okay, I've got 100,000 people waiting for the best show ever. Calm down, take a big breath. This is what you do. You enjoy doing this. Let's do this and make the best effort we can. And that's usually what we do. We've got Damir, who's also there in the spectators' positions. He's always watching us, giving us feedback afterwards, what to do better, what to do less, what to try to maybe. There's always room for getting better. That's the always thing in aviation. It's never perfect. You always try to get that perfection. And that process, it motivates you, that feedback after the shows, when you've got people waving at you, hugging you, sending you messages. That's actually why you do it, It's just bring happiness around the people watching it, Yeah. It's an awesome feeling, yeah. That's
great. And then how does the briefing work? So you've talked a lot about the training. So let's talk about an airshow day. aside from the fact that you've got great support staff, your technicians have got the airplanes ready long before you guys are even ready to brief, and that's wonderful. That's a common theme around these display teams, and it's nice to have such passionate technicians too. How do you guys go about your briefing before the actual event? You're on the box. Show time is 10:30. What time do you guys start your brief and kitting up, etc.?
Okay, so that first depends on the demand of the organization regarding the air show. So usually we do have a safety brief regarding most team leaders. They come very early. Darko usually goes up to 3 to 4 hours before our flight display to hear the briefing, take in the situation brief regarding awareness and the distance between the people, the public. And then we would come approximately, I would say, around 2 hours before, gear up, talk about it, go through the flight, have a brief, talk about our usual mistakes, what to take care of, or of course the obstacles around the air show. We had a specific air show in Mollis in Switzerland, where we had we had a mountain that was around 500 meters away from the airfield, and the mountain was over 2 kilometers high.
Wow. Okay.
And we're not used to that type of landscape here in Zadar, where everything is straight. So you have to adjust to that.
Sure.
But I must say it was the best scenery I've ever seen in my life, and that's when you have to prepare yourself regarding the obstacles, because safety always comes first. We always communicate about everything. We go into detail, we talk about it, and then we just keep it going from there.
Sure. Okay, that brings me to a nice point. Let's talk about your solo role here. I'm going to put this clip up of a bit of your solo stuff, and you can have a chat after that. Got some vertical maneuvers coming through, vertical rolls, some straight rolls, lots of rolling maneuvers. It must be quite disorientating into the spin recovery, the sun in your eyes, back, dark, sun, dark, inverted over the back of the crowd line. Oh, a thumbs up. I can just see by your body language. Marko, you're having a great time here. This is just fun. You can see your shadow flashing past the church buildings there, and now the main aircraft are there, and you're rejoining the formation. So let's talk us through this, the preparation that you have to do as the soloist. There's a lot of G, there's a lot of rolling, there's the disorientation, you got the sun, you got movement, you got spinning. Never mind all that, you got G's when you're on your solo bit, and now you have to still be aware of where the leader is, where's the team. What is the communication like between you and Darko as he's operating the other 5 aircraft at that time?
A lot of spins, a lot of rolls. I love rolling and I love spinning, Alex. It's just in me. I feel very comfortable doing that. Regarding the communication during our flights, so Darko is giving us a heads up information regarding the elements we will be performing. But while I'm the soloist, I have to come in at the exact right moment, so we know that we have a separation in between elements, that it's not periodically too long. We know that the people have to be entertained. We know that we have to work on that. So I'm listening exactly to what he's saying while he's flying with his formation. So if I know that they're going to be doing a synchro spin, I know that exact moment when he says that he has to push the pedal to take out the spin. That is my moment where I have to be in run with the runway at approximately 1 to 2 miles, and I know what speed I have to be, so I can to precisely enter while they're leaving and to maintain the safety issues regarding that. Yeah, and I'm flying at approximately, so that's the speeds I'm flying around are in between 250 to 300 knots. Okay. So I'm flying around at 120 meters per second, and I'm flying at around 90 meters altitude, so it's around 300 feet. So when you think about it, I don't have a lot of time to make a mistake. It has to be, if I make a mistake, it's not going to be good for no one. Yeah. So I have to think it through, very precise. You know about the limitations they have during air shows. You know about the safety lines, the grids, and you're not allowed to be crossing those grids, because you can then be they can cancel your performance in general. Sure. It becomes something that you've been working so hard through, and it's not worth it by risking those types of situations.
Sure.
So as you see, I've got those 90-degree turns. I've got inverted flights. I've got high Gs. I like to push the aircraft to its maximum possibilities. I'm pushing up to 7 Gs sometimes. I'm going to minus 1.5, -2. So afterwards, it's a real workout. It's
Sure.
a real workout.
And then quickly you got to turn your head around and look and see where Darko is. Listen to the way he's communicating with you. And we're not even talking about a little bit of a breeze coming down, the onshore breeze onto the crowd, laying off for that. All these environmental factors, there's bumping and turbulence. So really is precise flying that's required. And a great aircraft, a great platform too, that PC9. Talk us through a bit about how you experienced the PC9. It's like you strap this thing on like a glove that fits you just right, or a leather jacket that's made for you. Talk us through the PC9.
It is. I will say that I feel more comfortable in my PC9 than my car riding around. You know, it's one aircraft that actually, you know, it's a forgiving aircraft. That's what I would put it. It's very, it can go at very high Gs, low Gs. It's very fast. It's capable of doing whatever you want. It's really enjoyable to fly. It's really enjoyable. And, you know, if I won the lottery, I would first buy myself a PC9. I think that would be the first thing I would do. It's very, very good. You know, the Swiss made a perfect aircraft. Of course, you've got the moments regarding the propeller that you have to take into account.
Sure.
And sometimes, you know, it can be demanding regarding turbulence, the weather and stuff like that. But as I said, after some time, it becomes natural to you. You know, it's like it's a first sense. You know exactly how much you need pedal, how much you need rudder, how much you need. You know, the pull and pushing. It becomes very genuine and very easy to fly.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm going to put this picture up here. A photo of you once again. The body language is just describing you're having a great time. There you've got the Patrouille de Francais. You've got the blue, red, and white smoke from them coming over looks like either the end of a barrel roll or some vertical rolling maneuver. Tell us a bit about your exposure in Europe and meeting up with all these other world-class display teams, high-performance teams all over Europe. It's wonderful to have. You got the French, the Spanish, the Swiss, the Polish, the Brits, the Red Arrows. There's just a Freccia Tricolori right next door. You got such a wonderful opportunity. How often do you guys get to meet up with these other wonderful teams just on your doorstep?
Oh, that's something that was, I would say, the most exciting, thrilling day ever was to finally sit in the jet. You know, I got the chance to be in the back seat with the Freccia Tricolori, and then last year we had the chance to fly with the Patrouille de France in the Alpha jet. Oh, that is just, I can't describe the thrill in words. You know, we have a very good relationship with Freccia Tricolori. They come every year to Zadar to perform for Zadar, and then we sit there with them, and then we go to Rivolta with them and fly over there. So, you know, the camaraderie regarding flights with them, and now with Patrouille de France, we're going to be we had a few flybys with the Red Arrows in a 16 ship formation, you know, across Zadar, across our hometown.
Sure.
And it's something that sometimes I can't believe that it's happening, but it happens, and it gives you the motivation to push forward and for more exciting days to come, you know, and I hope that we'll continue to do that. And I think it will be something that will become normal for all of us.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. I remember a visit in 2010 to the Italian base when they had that 50th celebration with all these teams almost on your doorstep. It's just such a wonderful opportunity to be around sort of like-minded people and share the good news and just, you know, bounce off ideas. I remember watching you guys, you know, you had the no smoke, but your show, the Krila Oluje, gave just that something extra, you know, that the synchro stall turn, the synchro spins, the triple mirror. It was just something extra, and that's really where our relationship kind of kicked off. And wonderful opportunity to have those people on your doorstep. Oh man, Marko, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. We've got some people saying thanks so much, and I'm not going to get this right. Mateo Maric says, Filipi Gijesi. I don't know. People are saying hello, great pictures, and thanks for the show. We've got people tuned in from Croatia, from South Africa, from all over, and thank you for your time today. You guys are doing a good job. I hope at the end of this, the lockdown, that the smoke system all gets installed, and by the end of the August, September, you know, towards the end of summer, that you'll be able to display out in your 6th ship with smoke. It's just going to be something special.
It is, Alex. I can't wait for it.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Alex. Cheers to all.
Cheers. Guys, thank you so much for joining. It was a wonderful chat with Marko Novkovic. I appreciate all your support. Please share, like, subscribe, do what you need to do. help the show get some traction. I'll be coming at you live from the hotel room for a couple of days while we get settled down in the quarantine. Some exciting events lined up. I've got some people lined up, but it's just a matter of the timing. So stay tuned for all the information about the show. Appreciate your support and stay safe.